if I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home. Just so far from here, focused on my own way, with never looking back to those who lived in fear. There was nothing I could do, there was nothing you said that could make me realize how much left.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this Wednesday night edition of Around the Ropes with Jon and Jeff. Before we bring in our guests, let me shoot it over to Jeff. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm good, John. I'm a little confused. We don't have our background up. Where's our background?
Okay, when you're doing things at 100 miles an hour, sometimes,
Okay, let me just recap what we just went through. Okay, we just had Black Rose on. We did an interview with Black Rose. It was kind of we were having technical difficulties, but we were plugging that. We then made a major announcement that we are now sponsored, right? And now our third consecutive show within the past hour and a half, we have a great guest here with Miss Ashley Stevie. So, I mean, we really are running 100 miles an hour, John.
But you know what's funny? You don't get to the one thing I've learned doing the show now. You don't get to this dance on your good looks. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Maybe not you, but I know I won't. So.
But yes, guys, we are being joined now by the woman behind Kaiju Pro Wrestling, the one and only Ashley Stevie. Ashley, how you doing tonight? Welcome to the show.
I'm here. I'm alive. I'm excited to be here. So let's rock and roll.
We have a lot of interviews coming up this week, and when I was able to get you on, I was like, you know what, this is what I'm looking forward to, because living on Long Island, I always. Believe me, I'm attached to my phone. Feels like more than I am with human contact. I'm attached to my phone so much, and I'm always, on social media, seeing what companies are doing. So I'm like, to get our name out there, I want to, get on as many independent companies as we can. And I've seen what you guys have done, and I think you guys have done a lot of great stuff, in an area that, let's be honest, is not an easy area. You talk about the Northeast Connecticut, where we all know the Northeast crowds are not the most pleasant.
No.
We are heel cheers up here.
I mean,
supporters up here.
In all fairness, I'm a heel supporter too. So
aren't we all?
You have to be. You got to cheer for the bad guy once in a while. They deserve love too. Yeah. The Northeast, it's something.
But before we get into what you guys have coming up on July 27th, because we saw the card earlier today, and it's a loaded card.
Thank you. I'm very proud of it.
What got you into wrestling? What made you want to become a promoter?
Okay, so that's actually is a complicated story, but I have a shortened version of it now from telling it for years. It's a great question, because I think one thing that makes the company stand out is the fact that I am not a wrestler. I'm not a former star anywhere. I was a fan 10 years ago. I started watching wrestling in my 30s. I'm now 40. I started literally as trying to bond with my now ex-husband, who is the father of my child, while we were married. He watched wrestling, not all the time, but kind of watched it by himself. And I was like, well, I've never really watched wrestling. And he showed me the match where Finn Balor won the title and immediately had to relinquish it because he was hurt. And literally, I was done. I was hooked. Just, I wanted to cry, and I didn't know who this man was. And I was like, okay, he picked something good. It's like when you get somebody into Doctor Who and you pick just the right episode to get him hooked. He did it. And then at that point, it was like, we were a WWE household. So I'd be meal prepping, watching Raw in the kitchen. Tuesday night, we would watch SmackDown together. I was the chick that when I came into work, everybody's ready to talk to me about, let's do the analysis. I'm also, I have some disabilities, but one of my talents is that I'm a pattern finder. So I have a nasty habit of when I watch mainstream wrestling, because I did hyperfixate and learn it all very quickly, and within 5 years, like I had the full WWE library. I write Memphis style, so I like the older stuff. So when I say I hyperfocus, I'm like, for a solid 4 years I didn't watch anything other than wrestling all the time. So that's how we could write a match that was dedicated to the British Bulldog. So, I mean, where would that come from otherwise? But becoming a promoter really came from the fact that during our divorce, I was trying to get used to not having my daughter as much, because we do have equal custody. So, like, I would not have her on every single weekend, and I'd be really sad. And so I started going and keeping my friend company, who was an independent wrestler, mostly down in Pennsylvania. And so I would keep him company, backup driver, road mom type deal. And I met indie wrestlers, and let's face it, they are usually some of the strongest mental health issues, and I genuinely understood these people. I understood what they wanted to do, and I understood how much they cared about their art and how serious a gimmick is. And so I started by just trying to help. I had photography skills, so I offered to do photography for the Fed, get them good headshots, get them, good promos filmed in one shot. I'm the promo queen. I could record anybody's promo in one shot, ready to go, hot off the presses. I also did all of his social media. He wasn't a social media person, so I started valeting or managing, depending on the preference, because I'm old school. Miss Elizabeth was my ambition when I did get and do some GMing. Even in the early Kaiju days, I was in my gear and GMing. I can't anymore. I'm getting old. I got to run the show. Every once in a while, I throw that corset back on, and the whole crowd goes, "Oh, is she gonna do it?" No, I'm not. I'm not writing myself into the story. Sorry, guys. The closest thing is that one of the matches on this card is actually from the last time I wrestled, so we're gonna have fun with that one. It's a 2-year grudge match. Been waiting, but. Yeah, and then I got involved because four of us started a company during COVID. We started talking about, what if we ran a Fed that wasn't us just booking our boys? What if it was we actually go find the people that are trying and need a push? What if we're going and finding all those underdogs? I mean, my prime example is Tiffany Avatar. 3 years ago, she was really out of nowhere. And I love that young woman with, like, every little bit of my soul, because she is the first piece of potential I ever really saw in a human being, and she's part of the reason why I fight so hard. But I make that girl work for that belt. Trust me, she's got to fight everybody, and I like to challenge them, and I regularly ask all of the roster, what can I do to help you? If it's not everybody wants to hold a title, so I'm that Fed where, hey Ashley, I want to work on my character, and I feel like I don't have anywhere to mentor. Okay, let's put you with somebody, and I'll get you to mentor. My biggest thing that I got involved for was I watched people get hurt, mostly because I dealt with backyard wrestling in South Jersey and in Maryland and in Pennsylvania. And I'm sorry, but I watched people literally, we had to use a ladder in a barn as a stretcher. So, not a fan of it. Yeah. And I'm somebody who's medically trained. So for me, it was, I'm now protective of these people. Which is honestly where the Mama Kaiju thing came from, is that I do take care of everybody. But it's...
Did we lose her, John?
I don't know.
There we go. It was me. I blinked too hard.
Okay.
So the big deal for me was... I wanted to be, I'm not going to run a school. Like, for me, I want to be that place where, hey, Ashley, I want to learn about production. Jeremy, our video guy, he was one of the wrestlers I started out with in Pennsylvania, and he had a neck injury. So he was like, what am I going to do? We all know this. What happens to a wrestler when they can't wrestle anymore?
They become a booker.
They start their own fad. Yeah, I know. Thankfully, I don't wrestle, so I can't put the belt on myself. Yay! Nothing against people who do it as long as it's for a reason. If you just do it because you do it, I totally judge you silently. Okay,
Well,
not so silently.
actually, I actually, I was a fan, and John was a little bit younger than me and you, but I grew up watching that time when the booker would put the belt on himself in the late 90s, and Vince put the belt on himself too, and it was just like, great, what is this doing for the storyline?
Nothing.
It's only going to be a matter of time before Austin wins it back anyway, or over in WCW and ECW, and it was just, or not ECW, but TNA at the time, and it was just like, great, Eric Bischoff's the champion, great, who cares? But I'm actually, I'm excited to see the show coming up, but I do got to just lament on one thing.
Yeah.
I'm late to the party with you. We just connected, you and I. We just met, right? And you just 2 weeks ago were in my backyard in Montreal, Canada. I live in Plattsburgh.
Cool. I love it.
And
that was huge for us.
That was my weekend without the kids. So it looks like you and I have the same weekend where we're kid free. So I was you're not going to believe this. I was in Montreal that night for dinner. John, I posted pictures of that night.
Oh, that's awesome.
And you and I were right up the road from each other, and I wish I knew that you were there and that you were putting a show on, because I always like to go to indie shows because I've fallen in love with the indie product. One, it's affordable. Two, it's just it puts on a better show. And Raw, for instance, your show in Montreal, I'm looking at the ticket prices right now. You were charging $15 for adults, okay? For a pretty good card. And Raw is going to be at the Bell Center in a few weeks. And Raw is charging $60 to $70 for upper tier seats in the Bell Center.
Yep.
And that's just a Raw. That's not a PLE or a Saturday Night Main Event. That's, And then you have a show coming up in a few weeks if you want to talk about it. But your ticket price here, $25, and kids get in for $5. And you're putting on some pretty damn good matches on this card.
So there's a reason why my ticket prices are so low, and this is something that I haven't announced yet, so I'm very excited to bring this up. But I finally, I have an amazing roster. I have a lot of people that have been trying to get me to stop doing so much by myself and build a team, and I am building that team, and I'm so proud of everybody that I'm bringing on board. But the biggest thing was, I'm a single mom with one income. If I want to do something with my kid, it has to be affordable, or it has to be cheap enough that if I can't stay, I don't beat myself up for it.
Yep.
I'm finally pulling the trigger on Kaiju Pro Wrestling. By 2026 will be registered as a nonprofit organization.
That's actually very, very impressive.
That's exciting.
I am so thrilled. Like, I have chills talking about it because it's finally something that's going to happen. It's going to actually verify that we do try to give back to the community every single way we can, and it will help people feel more comfortable with partnering and sponsoring and, donating. And I want little businesses like mom and pop shops, like if they want to try to partner with us, I want them to be able to get some tax documentation to help that. Like, if I could give that little piece to them to help take a little bit of burden off of them, but also give them like an outing. I've gone around to like local coffee shops and given them free tickets and said, hey, if you guys want, when you guys close on Sunday, come down, come check out our show. And they're like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, you guys put up my posters for me every time. Here you go. But it costs me nothing to be nice. It costs me nothing to give somebody an opportunity to see an indie show. A lot of my fans that come, we might have small crowds, but our online presence is bigger. So people do watch the shows once we launch them. But our crowds are predominantly brand new fans. Like, my whole front row, the last show, were all people who've never been to an indie show before. Kids, adults, everybody. That's what I want. I want to build the future of the fan base to keep this business going. if that's my gift back, then heck, I'll lose money. It's fine. Let's do it. I'll invest in myself every day.
Ashley, before we get to the next question I have here, I'm going to go through the comments section here quickly. Billy Ann, she goes, "Hey Ashley, keep up the good work, lady. Can't wait to get out there."
I can't wait to have her there. I've run into her once at Titan, and it was like, I wish I was having a better day when I ran into her, because she is just so adorable. I love her.
No, she definitely is. And I want to actually bring up the part, we were talking about how wrestling is such a male, especially in the indies, it's such a male dominant thing. Especially when you look at indie promoters, you don't really see many female indie promoters out there. Actually, come to think of it, I don't think there's really any that come to mind other than yourself.
It's a very small group, but it is starting. I will say, when I started like really running full time in like 2022, definitely I would say I was in a very small majority, but I do start to see, like, we have Missy Sampson down running bell to bell. There are other companies now where women are starting to be like the face of their companies. It is definitely, even Cindy Hart runs OWR out here in Connecticut. So now we have 2 women running companies in Connecticut. I think it's great because we don't want, like, I don't know any woman in this industry, talent or promoter, that doesn't just want to be treated like everybody else. Like, if you're going to joke with the boys, joke with me too. I tell my roster, if you're going to tell a dirty joke, better make sure I'm included. I want to hear it. Because we don't want to be different. We already know we have a slight disadvantage as far as like respect levels, because the history of the business is male. We just want a chance to prove ourselves, and we definitely want to be allowed to try. I think that's like the best way to put it.
It's funny you say that, Ashley, because Billy and I, we go back 5 years, and we've spent a lot of time in the car together, driving to shows and just hanging out. And she says the same thing about being just a female fan. And then now she's breaking into the business as an announcer and as a play-by-play. Even that she's finding is, there seems to be this glass ceiling for women in the business that you guys are just starting to break through finally. And it's exciting to see, because you're putting your own spin on things, and it's not just a good old boys club anymore,
Yeah. And that's what it is. Like, listen, the boys club is always going to exist. I'm, like I said, one reason why I know I'm a good promoter is because I just, as a person, I don't take anything personally. You have to really offend me. Like, you have to try pretty darn hard to get me to be upset with somebody. So that's why I say, like, listen, if you're going to say a joke around everybody, don't treat me any different because I'm standing here. To me, that's more respect than anything, because you're not looking at me going, I have to be different. Why? Yeah. Just be yourself. Be yourself. If you would be yourself around the boys, be yourself around everybody. If you're a creep, be a creep. If you're not a creep, don't be a creep. It's easy. Like, just be yourself. I feel like just anxiety, like, one thing I know about that gets told about my room and my rental is that it doesn't matter where I run a show. When people walk in, they feel love. And the thing is, I know where that comes from. It comes from me, because when I open those doors every show morning, I purposely say, like, there is no negativity allowed in here. Even if you have a bad match, go out back, talk it through. Like, we've got vets, like, that will happily, I have vets that don't even get booked on the show. They show up just to give feedback. They want to be part of it. I completely support that. As long as you're going to come in with positive energy, you're welcome. If you're going to come in with a chip on your shoulder, hi. And I will, and I'm not afraid to go. Like, you're off the show, you can go.
Well, that translates so well with your posters too, and your product that you put out, because they're colorful, they're family friendly. It's not the typical dark wrestling promotion poster. Yours are very bright and they pop, and like your one coming up, it's pink, it's sunny, it reminds me of like a summer kind of program. It also feels like it does give me the feels, like to just look at the background.
It's nostalgic.
And then to see my boy Corey there just featured so heavily, I'm so proud of him. And I hope you talk and push him now and get into what you're doing with him in a few weeks, because I've always loved Corey and Ting, and to see him elevated like this is exciting. So
So I want to share with you because you love Corey as much as I do. So one thing that I would really like to kind of explain actually involves Corey. So there's a reason why I pick certain people for the story runs. Like I really don't believe in booking people because they're my friends. Like you're my friend whether or not I book you. If you're not my friend because I didn't book you, you are my friend. So it's an easy filter system. But when I first started scouting in Connecticut, because originally we started in New Jersey due to COVID and the fact that it's the Wild West down there. So because I started in South Jersey, South Jersey, I came up here. I live here, but when I started scouting up here to fully transition the company up, it became a situation where I was like, where do I go? Because I wasn't researching companies up here. I was invested in the New Jersey scene, so I worried about the 7,000 companies in New Jersey and Philly. So I had to start somewhere. There was a show up in Torrington. It was 2TW, Tough and Talented Wrestling. And I went because I lived 20 minutes away, and I was like, heck yeah, I'm going to go. And the stepdads were there, and they were like, come on down. And I was like, heck yeah, because they worked for me down in Jersey. So I walk in to go see Rad Dad and Justin, Papa Bear, and I met Bill Dredd, who's a local legend out here. Ended up training with one of my business owners, my friend that I was driving all the time. So I got to meet people, and one of the people I got to see at that show were Black and Yellow, and that's the day I got to see Mike Skyros. And I remember looking at my partner, and I went, that guy right there, yeah, the one that does that shimmy when he gets in, yeah, we're booking him, you know that, right? And then we saw Skyros, and he looks over and he goes, that's the kid we came here to see, and I went, uh-huh. And he goes, yeah, you're fine, I don't need to scout with you anymore. And after that, like, it was just me booking because my opinion works, because I saw talent in Corey, and Ting is adorable, like, when he behaves. It's Ting.
Yes.
It's Ting.
Yeah, yeah.
Corey was, when I first brought Corey on, a lot of the reason why Black and Yellow took so long to get started with Kaiju was just because of Ting's schedule. With him being in school, we were trying to, like, I wasn't running very often, so it was trying to find, I don't like pushing people and be like, you have to be here. It's indie wrestling. If your regular shoot job is offering you overtime and I'm offering you $50, please take the overtime. Somebody will take your spot. I promise it's okay. You know, it's when they no show all the time, then I'm like, okay, we're going to have a problem. But no, I wanted to get Corey started so bad. And so when I was first starting the belt, the heavyweight belt, I wanted it to go on Corey from the beginning, but I approached Corey about the booking, and he was like, oh, I'm supposed to go to Jamaica. And I was like, I can't tell him not to go on his trip. I was like, dang it, what do I do? So I tried it out on Justice, and it didn't work out. And it's okay, because I've seen Justice footage. He's getting so much better. He's focusing. He's still working. So I'm still proud as heck of him. But when Corey was ready, it was like, okay, let's move the belt to Corey. And I'm glad I did, because I saw a spark light in him, like towards his own career and not just tag wrestling. And I love that, because I see that little spark growing, and he's such a good person, and I want good things for him.
He's genuine.
He is. He's such an honest human being.
He's humble, and him and Ting are both, when they're not afraid to talk to fans and take the pictures, and my son loves them. They're one of his favorite tag teams to watch on the indie scene. And my son's going to be jealous that I'm coming to your show and I get to see Corey, you know, who I'm going to take a lot of pictures and send them to my son, just rub it in his face.
Oh, yeah, you have to. No, that's a rule. I'm a mom. You absolutely have to be a total jerk to your kid if they're not there.
Of course.
It's my rule.
Because John, you got, this is how you raise good kids, is that you get to rub it in their face that, like, I'm doing things that you can't do, you know.
That's my thought with my 9-year-old now. I'm not going to not go on vacation. I'll just go without you. What? Yeah. Keep messing around, Missy. I'm just going to go without you. You know how many times I've told that child, oh, so since you were grounded this weekend, yeah, I went and saw Mike Skyros wrestle without you. What? Yeah.
It's funny you
Sorry,
say,
buddy.
It's funny you say Mike Skyros. We're having him on Tuesday.
I saw. I was like, heck yeah.
We are such big fans of Mike's work, and I've praised that guy from day one. And but
Same.
that aside, what do you have coming up in 2 weeks here?
So, okay. So the funny thing is, all those matches on the card are not entirely. There's a couple secrets that are going to come out slowly. I have a couple more planned. So it's going to be an 8-card show. It's not going to be a 3-hour show, though. Yay! I write Memphis style, people. I want you guys to be able to still not need a nap after the show, okay? I want you to be able to go home and eat dinner. Unless you want to eat a whole pizza at my show, that's possible, too. I do overbuy. And I keep it affordable so that people don't go broke going to an indie show. Thank you very much. So the ones I put on the poster are actually the ones that I probably giggled really hard when I booked them. Because I actually wanted the match with Corey and RJ last show, but RJ wasn't available. So I was like, okay, well, we'll push it to July. Because it's storyline. I'm ready for the locals. I've been running out here long enough now that the local talent finally get to cycle in. I got enough storylines going. So super excited to see more local people coming in and getting a balance of working with new people, because I do bring in travelers. I have the Brian Bayside said, hey, I'd like to come work at Kaiju. And I went, that's great. My counter offer is, will you wrestle on Legos? And he went, yes. And I went, good. You have Pete Corvus. So, and Pete, every time I remind Pete, like he saw the card today in the group chat when I released it to everybody, he saw it and he goes, why do you hate me? And I went, I don't. But I really want you to earn that title shot against Corey. Like really bad. Like you're on like show number 4 where Pete is like, if I don't die, I get the title shot. I will be honest. Peter, if you're watching this, this is how you're going to find out. You do have your title shot. It's with Corey in September. You're welcome. So again, don't die in 2 weeks, and you get your title shot. But I really couldn't pass up an opportunity for 2 people who dress in very similar colors to wrestle on top of Legos. I mean, come on, what parent does? I almost called it an ouchie match. Because I figured as soon as a parent sees the Lego picture, they're like, I know what we're doing. Got it.
Well, wait a minute, John, as a parent, my feet are going to be going through PTSD from stepping on those things. And you can appreciate that, Ashley. And John, if and when you ever do have kids, you will step on a Lego at 3 a.m. It will be the most painful thing you've ever felt in your entire life. And I feel bad for these guys having to wrestle on top of Legos.
So when I explained it to somebody, because I don't generally run my plans by anybody. I like to keep the madness contained in here. And I just released the card. And then I usually get messages as soon as a card comes out. And everybody goes, oh, my goodness. And I go, buy a ticket. Come see the amazing thing I'm booking, please. Because we need to monetize people. That's how indie wrestling keeps going.
Yeah.
We need people to go so that we can afford to pay the people to book the good people. And I also insure them, by the way, everybody. So at least, when you're paying $25 tickets, because these people have medical insurance for the day. But even things like social influence, like if anybody follows the footage, social influence, I mean, listen, they're great kids. They really are ambitious. But man, are they heel? Because they heel it out with me, and I'm like, talking about booking matches with them. So this time it was so Mama Kay, who are we going against? And I was like, Beast of Chaos. And I just remember TK looked over and goes, "Why? What did we do?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" Because it's Sammy Chaos and Kate Lothbrok. They're gonna die. It's a title match. So that means Sammy and Cade could walk away with title belts. They could become the world tag champions. I don't play around when I book. Like, I always tell them, Corey, Tiff, even if they defend on another show, they know those are honest defenses. If they lose that match, it's not just next show they're going to win it back. I do it legit.
You also have the Tiffany match, and you didn't mention that one yet.
That's because that's a very special one. So in November of 2022, which is why November is now our anniversary. That is when we officially launched in Connecticut full time and didn't turn back. At that show in Ansonia, Connecticut, on November 16th, ironically, 2022, which now this year it's November 16th, 2025. Yay, daylight savings time and leap year. So Tiffany was our first women's match in Connecticut. It was also one of her first solo matches for us. We always had her in tag work because she was a newer student. And her first opponent and my very first Connecticut resident that ever wrestled for me was Dajae Simone, who was a student of Test of Strength at that time. So I booked Dajae to come out and wrestle Tiff so that I could have some fresh blood come in, start scouting up here properly. And during the match, I mean, I wasn't a nice GM. This is part of why I don't GM anymore. I like being a nice owner now instead of a mean GM. I'm just mean to social influence because. But I interfered. Dajae did end up getting pinned because I distracted her. So this girl has literally come back and wrestled for me several times, and every single time she's gone, I want my rematch. And this was even before Tiffany had a belt. This is before a belt even existed yet. So for this, I looked at Dajae a couple of months ago because, again, I don't usually spoiler alert anybody. So they usually find out at the time that they're getting booked, like, hey, I'm going to book you for this date. By the way, this is your match. And I get to see the shock usually of, what? I have what now? And it's because I believe in earning it. And I will say this, Dajae, as much as I can pronounce that Tiffany has improved, because she is, she's phenomenal. That girl has a drive that is insane, is the only word I can describe with it. If she's like, I want to learn that move, she will not stop moving until she learns that move. It's watching Tiff train is, that girl will push herself till she's on the ground. There's a reason why I carry like 6 inhalers. It's her. So now Dajae on the other side, because I live here and I'm usually scouting mostly locally now, Dajae has developed so much in these last 2.5 years waiting for this rematch that when I looked at her a couple of months ago, I was like, hey, so in July, I'm going to book you. And she's like, okay, that's great. Didn't ask anything else. And I was like, it's your title shot against Tiffany. And what? I was like, you've earned it. That's my biggest thing. I will look at you square in the face and be like, you've earned this.
I believe me, I definitely hear the passion. But the funny thing is, you mentioned that your anniversary is November 16th. Mm-hmm. It's actually kind of funny. Our anniversary for this show is November 21st.
Nice! I love it.
Our first show we did, I was actually telling this to Jeff beforehand, our first show we did was the watch-along for Survivor Series, November of 2021, when they were promoting the Rocks movie, the one about the egg that went nowhere. Yeah, that was. It's funny that you say your anniversary is November 16th. I'm like, oh, our anniversary is only a few days later.
See, but that means we're a good breed. That's why.
Wait a minute. Hold on here, John. That's your anniversary when you started Around the Ropes podcast, which doesn't exist anymore. Our anniversary is in April. So,
which is also close to my birthday. So again, we'll just say it's a good pairing.
There you go. All right, John. Let's not act like this all existed before you brought me in. There's a reason why Jeff Allen's name is up there the way it is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that said, we actually have some questions from a fan. Would you mind answering? Is that okay, John? You want to pull up Bobby's
Open book. Anything they want to know.
Bobby chimes in. He goes, I have 2 questions. Ashley, do you have a routine before any of your matches? Any superstitions? And then as for Jeff, he goes, I'm not finished yet, pal. So
that's okay. Yankees are still going to beat the Mets this year. We all know that. So,
so as for the question, yes. So before the shows, we have a very specific prayer that we do. It's like a kaiju theme that we've done since New Jersey. It's a twist on Razor Ramon's speech, because bad guys can win, but kaiju never die. So we made a little twist to it. We do that before every show. The biggest thing that I do superstition-wise is, so mine are more behind the scenes now. When I was in the ring, my gimmick involved voodoo. So yeah, I had a lot of superstitions. My promos were awesome, and I could choke slam people with a voodoo doll. So I'd say I have some pretty cool things I can do. But my superstitions now as a promoter more are, one, the positive energy. The positive energy's got to be there. And honestly, a lot of that comes from. So I'm a mom first, and I am also what they call a stress cook. I'm Italian, so usually the week of the show, when I can't sleep at night, I'm not doing the social media ads like I'm supposed to. I'm usually baking things. So actually, part of the registration process when they do their waivers before the shows, is there is a question that I have on it that says, what food preferences do you have, and do you have any allergies? And it's because like people will be like, I like chocolate chip cookies, and I will just make chocolate chip cookies appear that day. To me, I believe that if somebody says like, hey, I really like this, like there is a thing I do with Pete Corvus. Part of his booking fee is I go and get him 30 banana Laffy Taffies. Exactly 30. I hand pick them. I have to go to a very specific store to find them. And the first thing he does when he comes in is I grab that bag that has his name on it and I chuck it at him, and I don't ever see him smile bigger than until he gets that bag of Laffy Taffy. And that's why I do it, because it's literally like he knows he's getting a piece of happiness.
Yeah, I got to give you a lot of credit for that, because obviously a lot of the companies that we work with are in New Jersey, and you said before about how New Jersey is put it in the nice
origin. It's our origin. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. But you see, you go to Jersey and you go to certain companies and you see just like, you walk out of there, you're like, what did I just walk into?
It's the Wild West down there, man.
Oh,
it is.
That's an understatement.
It is. I loved getting death threats just for running a show on SummerSlam night. That was great. I ran one show and got told to never come back.
There's a line in Hamilton that, what do they say? It's happening across the river in New Jersey. Everything's legal in New Jersey. That might have been true 200 years ago. It's still true 200 years later. I mean,
yeah.
You want to do 100 miles an hour in the Garden State Parkway? You do it. You want to kick your wife out of the car on the New Jersey Turnpike? You do it. I mean,
nobody's going to stop you. Yeah, nobody's going to stop you. Who's going to pull you over? Nobody. They're too busy.
Cops probably going to clap for you when you do it. So I mean,
we're not condoning that. By the way, I just want to
correct. We do not condone any kind of DV. Thank you very much. But yeah, no, I get it. And that's exactly it. Like, I'm sitting here going, okay, we're trying to run monthly, and I have to drive down, like, I have to turn and burn daily on the weekends just to get down here to Flyer. Like, this is going to kill me. So I was like, why are we doing this? Like, two of our owners when we started lived in Long Island. The other two, which were me and my friend, lived here. So I was like, why are we doing this? So once COVID started getting better, I was like, that's it. We got to move this, guys. And so they were like, okay, well, if you could do it, Captain. And I went, you got it. And I did. And we never turned back.
I definitely, like I said, see the card. I've seen a lot of the people that you have on there. I've seen them wrestle. Especially, there was one match we didn't even talk about that kind of crossed my mind. I've seen them wrestle before.
I was hoping we were going to bring up the person that should be publicly sponsored by this company that I'm holding up. So Monster Energy, you really need to start stalking social medias for Elle Valentine. Thank you very much. You owe her. She's amazing.
It's funny you bring up Elle Valentine, because I want to talk about the person who Elle Valentine is going up against.
Please do. Oh my goodness, please do. Danny Adams, dude, okay. Corvus, I know I love you. Okay, this is why I work you as hard as I do, buddy. But this match specifically is a revenge match for Corvus, okay? Because if you guys watch the footage from the last time that Danny Adams was here at Kaiju, okay, he interfered and he got a low blow on Pete Corvus. Pete Corvus only lost and got thrown back in the pile of people because Danny Adams gave him a no-no shot. You guys know what I'm talking about, okay? The biscuits and gravy got tampered with. And I am very fair. And I said, don't worry, Petey. Keep going, baby cakes. I got this. We'll get them back. And I had already known about Elle. So I had seen a match where they had fought each other, and I literally reached out to her and was like, I need a favor for another member of the roster. Can you please beat up Danny Adam for me? And she goes, you got it. Done. And a match was created, and I was like, we go. Al was amazing, and if anybody's going to get revenge for Pete, I'm having Danny fight a tough woman that could rip him into shreds.
That's so funny.
If that doesn't mean your promoter cares about you, I don't know what else.
And I know Danny Adam. He's not a big boy. Like, yeah, I'm about twice his size, so like what you're doing to him is just mean but funny.
That's the point though, is really that Danny is an amazingly talented wrestler. I actually saw him because of Paradise Alley. He was at one of their Cadillac Ranch shows. I just happened to be there because I live 5 minutes away. So I was like, I'm going to go to a wrestling show on a Sunday. And I sat there by myself, didn't talk to anybody. I think the only person who knew me was Johnny Santos and Nicole Matala. They were the only two people that were like, oh my God, she's here. And I was like, shh, nobody knows who I am. And it was nice. But I remembered seeing Danny in their Rumble, and I went over to him after, and he thought I was flirting with him. He's like, not interested. I was like, actually, I'm a promoter. I wanted to talk to you about a booking. And he kind of like shuffled me off and said, oh, okay. And then I connected with him after, and I was like, so again, I really was trying to talk to you about a booking. I really like what you did there. Like, you handled, because foils are not fun. People love to watch them, but as a promoter, and I think as a talent, they can be incredibly stressful because you have to keep in mind where everybody else is.
Yeah.
And it's a lot on spatial awareness, and you have to think about it. Like, wrestlers have to memorize, at least mostly, minutes worth of action. And one person doesn't do what they're supposed to do in a battle royal, and everything gets thrown off. You have endings get thrown out, people get hurt, all kinds of craziness happen. I'm not a big fan of them because they stress me out, but Danny held it really well. Like, you could tell he vetted in that match, and I was like, I wanted to compliment that because that stood out to me, even though I was just there for fun and bought a ticket.
So, Ashley, before I ask you the next question, where can fans get tickets for your July event? When's the show? Where can they get tickets? Kind of walk us through that whole process, and then I'll get to my question.
All right. So the biggest thing about Kaiju Pro Wrestling is I also did a very unique thing as far as the ticket purchasing. So there is a QR code on the flyer. You can scan that. It actually goes right to our website where you can not only buy your tickets, but you can also pre-order your food, your drinks, any of our merch, because I make it all in-house. It's part of my fundraising for the company. I donate the merch by making it, and I make homemade goods like hot relishes. I make San Marzano tomato sauce, because again, Italian. And then I make the hats, like even Special Influence, their hats. I made those for them. I do T-shirt pressing, all kinds of stuff. So I have a Cricut and a lot of creativity. So if you scan that QR code, otherwise it is. If you go, you can actually honestly Google Kaiju Pro Wrestling, and it actually brings you right to our Square site.
I'm quite impressed because a lot of times you get bookers and you get people that come in and they'll tell you how to get tickets, and you can tell like they've programmed it, but they haven't actually been as actively in programming it.
Right. I built that from the ground up.
What you said is dead on accurate, because I scanned the QR code, and here I can buy my tickets. I can pre-order my food. I can get
merch, and it tells you what's in stock. Yep. I actually keep track of the stock.
I can order my drinks. I can order a pizza. I can get merch. I can do all of this just by scanning that QR code.
Yep.
So, folks, I just want to attest to Ashley's dedication here in that this is not someone that took this lightly and just let somebody else program this. She is not lying. You can actually buy her food right on, and your wrestling ticket.
So, Jeff, here's a kicker, because you're a parent, so you get this. I even take, because you can do that, I also can take Afterpay. So people can prepay their whole day, have everything paid for, so when they show up, everything's ready to go. They just, like, you want to send your kids with grandpa to the wrestling show, you can literally go on the website, pre-order everything, it's under your name, it's paid for. If you need to finance it because you're having a hard time, it's okay, we take Afterpay. We also take Cash App. We take Venmo, all through the Square site. I do everything because my brain was, what will a customer or a parent bringing their family, or even somebody who doesn't have a great job, like you want to go out with your friends. Same reason why on the website you can buy packs of tickets and I give discounts. It's not because I need to. It's because I want people to be rewarded for taking the initiative to say, hey, I'm going to be here for this. Another thing they can do on the website, because we are going to be registering as a nonprofit organization, is we also do take donations. The reason why I'm opening up donations, I kind of hated the idea at first, but I'm starting to warm up to it, is because I am still building everything on my own. I have been for 3 years, so we're not monetized at all. When you guys go on our YouTube, I'm not getting paid when people watch that. We don't have enough subscribers. So if people want to go subscribe to our YouTube, please do. We had to rebuild it a year ago, and we lost all of our followers, and it really broke our heart. We got locked out and couldn't get back in. And New Jersey Revenge, by the way. That's how you know I started in Jersey. Somebody hacked our YouTube and took over the ownership so we couldn't use it.
John, that sound familiar?
But yeah, when people have any questions about anything, like I can even arrange kids' birthday parties at my Kaiju shows because I can reserve a banquet table for them. And you can bring a cake and you can pre-order the pizza for the kids and bring your own goodie bags. Like, I'm all for it. Whatever people in the community need from me, reach out. Let me know. We'll make it work. I've got group homes that I set up discounts for. I also am doing referrals. So talent now get a kickback if people pre-order their tickets. When you go to check out, underneath the selection, and Jeff, if you're on the website, you'll see it. You select it, and right underneath it, it'll say referral code. Just type in the wrestler's name. That's it.
Yep.
Whether it's their gimmick or their real name. I keep track of it.
It's so user-friendly. I just did it, yeah.
I keep track of it, and what I do is I use that. So if they're like a local and they were helping us, if they're like a local student and they were helping us flyer and they were helping us before the show, and I see, hey, look, they brought in, like, people pre-ordered 5 tickets for me from somebody that wasn't even on the show. Next time I'm going to work on getting them booked, right? Because that makes sense. They helped me. They brought attention to my brand completely without getting anything for it. So what I did was, not only do I track it, but I also give them kickbacks. So after 5 tickets that they sell, I give them $5 per general admission ticket after that. So they could come back with a nice payday. So if they're running low on merch, they could be raising merch money just by selling tickets for me.
So the question I was going to ask you, Ashley, and you are 100% correct. Your purchasing system was set up beautifully, and you hit the nail on the head there. But you mentioned opening during COVID, and wrestling, I found, being a fan for 40 years, is that wrestling's kind of got me through some of the lowest points of my life, not just as an individual, but socially and globally. Wrestling was there after 9/11. Wrestling was the first event to open. Wrestling was there during COVID. Wrestling was there for me when I was in the hospital as a little boy. So for you to kind of find your footing during COVID and then finally make a run with it and make this go, like, that's just such that hits home for me, that, being a 40-year fan. And because people like you have kept people like me involved in this beautiful sport for 40 years. And some people call it violent. I call it a beautiful art. I mean, it's just, when I go to a show, I know a little bit about the business, but when I go to a show, I want to be marked out. I want to be immersed in the show. And your show coming up looks like I can just totally just kick back and just be a total fan again,
And you know what the secret is? Honestly, like, the reason why my cards usually look really, really good is because I am a fan. So I book the matches that make me happy.
It sounds like it looks like it, but we're up against the clock here, right, John? I think.
Well, I have one final question for Ashley, and it's, you're saying how you're Italian and you like to cook. My girlfriend, if she's watching this, is going to kill me for asking this question, but she is 100% Sicilian.
Okay.
And we've always had this argument about sauce or gravy.
Okay, so, I think I know this. I think I know the answer to this.
Okay, so for me, I've always called it sauce, but to me, I mean, it depends on how you use it too. Like if I'm in New York, I'm probably calling it gravy if I'm around in New York. It's the same way. Like I'm gonna use my Yiddish if I'm around certain people. So for me, I think if I'm in a location where it would be gravy, like if I'm in New Jersey with an Italian, or I'm in New York with an Italian, I'm probably calling it gravy if I'm in their house because I don't want to get kicked out. Hungry too. So, but in my house, it's sauce. We're a very baseline Italian family.
But so I learned from my New York friends that when it's just sauce, it's sauce. But as soon as you put meat in it, it's gravy.
Yep. And
so
I'm a bolognese person. So then I'm a gravy lover.
But that's a Staten Island thing, so I can't even attest to that being a Long Island or a Connecticut or, because Staten Island's a completely different part of the state that we don't even want to claim. Right, John?
I call Staten Island the gateway to Jersey.
Yeah,
I mean that's just you don't stop in Staten Island. You just you hit the gas and get over the Verrazano.
And this could get me heating out with the people of Staten Island. Great, you're gonna sign a death wish if you have to stop in Staten Island. Let's just call it.
My best friend lived in Staten Island, so this is where I get all my information from.
That's true. He's got a verifiable source.
Ashley, I just want to say before we sign off here, I'm excited to meet you on the 27th. I'll be coming down from Plattsburgh, which is way up by Montreal.
Okay.
I wish I could have drove 50 minutes and seen you rather than 4.5 hours. But I sent you. It's funny because I just sent you a picture of my June 28th, what I was doing that night, and I was literally minutes up the road from you.
I heard about that show too. I did, because somebody was like, oh, they happened to come to our show because they were headed to that one, but they're like, oh, I've never heard about this company.
Oh.
And they looked us up, and I was like, yeah, that's what we do.
I wasn't even at a show. I was on a date night with my wife because Montreal's only 50 minutes from me.
Oh, that's true.
So that's like you going to Manhattan for dinner, for a nice dinner.
Not gonna happen.
We go to Montreal like it's nothing.
You're gonna pay arm and a leg.
Yeah, right. I'm listening. I'll go to Outback and just get to go.
No, I gotta get some good food. And you guys, if you're ever up in Montreal again, let me host you up here and let me take you up to Montreal to some of my favorite places because.
No, absolutely.
John, there's no food like once you eat Canadian food, you'll know
how much better it is than. Yeah. After the show, actually, my car that I drove up with some of the Kaiju guys, we went out to dinner and we went to Barbie's, which was a fantastic place. And of course, I sat down. I only have a 4-ounce stomach, but I was like, I want poutine. With me. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, God.
My stomach hurt for 2 days, but it was totally worth it. Hey, the first thing I did when I entered Canada was I found a Tim Hortons because we don't have them down here.
No, wait a minute. No. And now you were in Quebec, so it's poutine. It's not poutine.
Yeah, poutine
in
poutine.
Ontario, but in Quebec, it's poutine.
Thank you. I need these lessons because I am the kind of person that nobody will correct me. They'll just look at me like they're going to kill me. So I appreciate that.
I've learned from making that same mistake in front of a Quebecois. And they've yelled at me, so I now know. But anyway, John, I turn it over to you to kind of close this out here.
Absolutely, Ashley. Again, it was a blast having you on. Definitely want to have obviously you on again, but also want to have more of the Kaiju wrestlers on. Just to
absolutely.
And definitely work with you guys. And I also have to thank you. You said something in the beginning. I don't remember if it was when we first went live or it was right before we were talking for a few minutes. And you said you kind of knew of us beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And that we were one of that we're in that group that you were saying how there are certain people that you go and watch to see where you can do better. And to be put into that category, I'm very honored by that.
I appreciate that because like we said in that conversation, it's like you guys are very straight and to the point, and so that when I know people are straight and to the point and they say something like, hey, this card makes me excited, it makes me more excited for the show because it's genuine.
Absolutely. Again,
well, Ashley, we'll see you July 27th, and we want to thank you for coming on tonight.
You guys got it. Whatever you guys need from Kaiju, you let me know. We'll make it happen.
Absolutely. Guys, go check out Kaiju Pro Wrestling July 27th. You don't want to miss the card. Also, stay tuned because we're going to have a lot more coverage of Kaiju Wrestling leading up to the show. And guys, just a quick program, coming up tomorrow, because now we're going daily here. Now, Jeff, we're not just weekly now. I feel like we're going daily at this point. We got Absolute Alvin Alvarez coming on tomorrow. We have Billy Fetsky coming on tomorrow. And we also have AJ Stevens, ring announcer from One Up Wrestling. So you don't want to miss any of those interviews, any of the past interviews that we have had already. Definitely catch them. They're on our YouTube page, our Facebook page, and also we're now, actually I mentioned this before, we're also on Spotify, Google, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Pandora, you name it, we're on there. So there's no reason why people can't listen to your interview or any of the past interviews we've done or any of the future interviews we're going to do.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys are killing it. Keep it up, guys.
Absolutely.
Again,
thank you so much, guys. Again, catch Kaiju Pro Wrestling July 27th, and we will see you guys next time on Around the Ropes with Jon and Jeff.